Hi guys. Today, as you can tell from the title of the video, we're talking about reflection, reflection, reflection. Now, as a bullet journaler, a teacher, a journal keeper, all that kind of stuff, an artist, reflection is a huge part of what I do, but there have been areas where I haven't put reflection into practice, and I'm learning through the bullet journal method to use reflection in order to get rid of all those things that bug me. Let's put it that way. Because I've done so much and so many different types of reflection, this is going to be an introductory video, and I'm going to try and stick to just the book stuff. Or at least Ryder's stuff. I'm not going to try and put too much of my own thoughts and things into it. I've got a lot of ideas about this and I really need to sit and focus on them. Plus, we don't need another 4-hour video. So, let's start off with this quote from Ryder. The point of reflection is to make sure that the things you're pursuing continue to matter even as life changes around you. It will help you to focus on the why rather than the what. When we think of reflection, we tend to think of it as mulling over things, going back on things, going back and doing stuff. And it tends to be always thought of in what Ryder refers to long form journaling, longhand journaling, a journal practice. What I'm learning from the bullet journal method is that it is a practice of everything. And all of the planning methods and things that I've come across over the years, they all have some form of let's go back and look at all this again. But they very much tend to look at it in terms of black and white. Have I done it or have I not done it? And if I haven't done it, reschedule it. Or delegate it, or do something with it. It's always do something with it. And at no point are we ever taught to sit down and say, I didn't do that today. Does it matter? We're always encouraged to use those little check boxes as measures of our success. That's how we are showing that we are busy and productive and useful members of society. And, we're doing. Look how busy I am. This is everything I did today. And yet one single missed checkbox can make you an abject failure. Well, you did all that, but did you do this? No, you forgot, didn't you? So, sorry, failed. It very much becomes an all or nothing thing. What I'm learning from the bullet journal method, especially in terms of tasks, is reflection gives you the opportunity to look at the why and the how instead of the what. It's too easy to just go, oh, I've got to go out and clean the car later. Oh, I've got to go and put the washing on. Oh, I've got to go and do this. I've got to go and do that. And never really consider why you're doing it. The simple answer to I need to put the washing on is, well, I need clean clothes. Okay, well, that's great. But don't you have clean clothes in your closet already? Do you really have 0 clothes that you could possibly wear that means that you must absolutely do your laundry right this second? Really? I find that hard to believe. And yet we treat it like it's this really important thing. We're like, oh no, we've got to do some laundry and we must do it today. And, you beat yourself up for not having done it at the end of the day. Oh, I forgot to do that. Oh no, it's the end of the world, and put it on your task list first thing tomorrow. Star it 5 times because it's a priority. Is it really that important? And that is 2 of the questions that Ryder talks about asking about things in your bullet journal. It's part of the reflection. Is it vital? And does it matter to you or someone you love? And he uses someone broadly in the sense of, people that matter to you. Does it matter or is it vital, and does it matter to those around you and you? He gives lots of examples in the book, so I won't go into details on those. But what I'm fast realising is that the best way of treating reflection is to force yourself to do it twice a day, every day. Before I started doing it, I couldn't see a point. I really couldn't. I was like, why am I spending this time reflecting on stuff when I could be journaling, or I could be drawing, or I could be taking the dogs for a walk, or, you know, I could be doing something. There's that word again, doing. And we never once consider that perhaps reflection is both doing and what the Japanese refer to as ma, the pause between things. It's something they talk about in conversations where one person says something, and where in a Western conversation you would automatically answer, automatically respond, and it goes dit, 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 and sometimes you're talking over each other. In Japanese culture, it's very common to have one person say something, and then there's a pause of silence, and then the other person will respond. And that pause is the waiting period, the thinking time, the moment between things happening. And it means that things are not constantly bombarding you. The world is not constantly coming at you, which is, let's face it, that's where the bullet journal method comes in, isn't it? He does talk about how he created it as a way to deal with his faulty brain, and he didn't realise that what he was dealing with as a child with ADHD was actually what everybody in the digital age would be dealing with, which was way too much information coming at you all at once, all of which wants your attention right now. We all have that issue where we just need to switch off, and we don't tend to do that practice. You know, we tend to envelope it in, oh, I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to do some meditation. It's always doing. It's always doing. We never just stop. And that's what reflection gives you the opportunity to do. It gives you the point of, let's stop and think about this first. So instead of having your gung-ho friend who's like, yeah, let's go and do such and such, and you go, yeah, let's go and do that, and phew, off you go. It's more like your friend says, hey, let's go and do this, and you're like, give me some time to think about it. That wasn't so hard, was it? The world didn't stop. The walls are still standing. You've suddenly got this moment to actually consider, do I even want to do that? How many times have you said yes to doing something because you immediately felt put on the spot? You didn't have time to think about it. You don't want to offend this person. You don't want to be the person who says no. You don't want to be the naysayer. But you also don't actually like George from accounts, and you could give two hoots about his leaving do. And yet, when somebody comes to you and says, it's George's leaving do, we're having a whip round, blah, 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 we're going for drinks on Friday, you'll be there, won't you? And you say, yes, of course I will. You don't want to go. So now you're going to be the person who bails at the last minute, which is even worse than not going, right? I can't remember her name, but the girl who wrote the Joy of Not Giving a F. I won't use the F word on my channel. I might get demonetized. But yeah, there's a TED Talk, if you look it up, and it's all about being able to say no. And reflection is kind of that moment where you realise that actually you don't want to go and you would like to say no. Tasks come in. Oh, I need to do that. It goes on the task list. Oh, I need to do that. It goes on the task list. Oh, I need to call her. It goes on the task list. Oh, I need to write that next week. Goes on the task list. And it's almost like it's an automatic reaction to make it a to-do. Bam, 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 bam. And before you know it, you've filled up a page with things you have to do. Not want to do, not need to do, not wish to do, but have to do. And who's telling you you have to do them? Well, unless you're at work or in trouble with the police, nobody but yourself. You are telling yourself you have to do them. And the point of reflection, and I think the key to understanding the bullet journal method as a method and a way of life, not just it's a planner, it's a journal, it's this, it's that. Go and see Miss Vicky B's video about that. She talked about it very well earlier. Instead of seeing the bullet journal as it's this, that and the other, it's just somewhere to collect everything that goes through your brain so that you have time to look at it and go, is this vital? Is it vital that I go and get petrol tomorrow? Yes, because if I don't get petrol tomorrow, I've got a whole list of things that I won't be able to do that I really want to do. Of course I've got to go get petrol tomorrow. Is it vital that the dog goes and gets her jabs? Yes, it is. Okay, that needs to be done. Is it vital that I do the laundry first thing in the morning? Well, let me think about that. Do I have clean clothes that I could wear? Yes. So is it vital that I do the laundry? No. Is there anything in the dirty laundry that I have to wear tomorrow? A uniform, a white shirt, anything like that. Not that I'd ever wear a white shirt, but you get the idea. No. Well then, I don't have to do the laundry first thing in the morning. If I do the laundry first thing in the morning, how does it benefit me? Is it vital that I do the laundry before I go to work? Hang on a minute. The weather tomorrow says it's going to be really nice. It's going to be nice all day, right the way through till the evening. You really, really, really love freshly blown linens and sheets and towels. You could put the towels and bedding on, put it out on the line, take it off the line when you come home from work. You've got lovely, fresh, clean bedding. That will make you a happy person who has a nice, clean bed. That's adding to your life. It's not vital. It's not vital. But it matters. And that's the key. It matters to you. Why does it matter? Because that's something that you love, that you want to give to yourself. You want to give yourself the opportunity to put your washing out on the line so that you've got lovely, fresh smelling, aired, clean sheets tonight. Okay, so in that case, doing the laundry first thing in the morning is important. You put it on the list and you mark it as a priority so that you don't forget to do it. Because that is your only opportunity to do the laundry first thing in the morning before you go to work. There is no other time first thing in the morning before you go to work. There's no alternative dimension where you can pop back to and go, I forgot to do that. I'll just go and do it somewhere else. There's one opportunity and you want to take that opportunity, so you do it. Other things are important to you because you want to do them. If you want to wear a particular outfit tomorrow, and that matters to you, then it matters, and you should do the laundry today. You see where I'm coming from? If you're just thinking, I should do the laundry because I haven't done the laundry since last Friday, and there's a big pile of laundry, and is it vital that you do it right now? No, the big pile of laundry isn't going anywhere. It'll still be there when you get home. Does it matter to you to do it right now? Well, the only way it's going to matter is if it bothers you that there's a big pile of laundry sitting in your kitchen before you go, during the 6 to 8 hours you're at work. Well, it might bother you in the moment, but when you're at work, you're not going to be sitting there going, that big pile of laundry's really bothering me. I wish I'd put that on this morning. You're not going to sit there doing that. So no, it's not vital. It's not important. It doesn't matter. If it does matter to you or will matter to you when you get home, guess what? Without you writing it down on your list as a task, you will get home, you will walk into the kitchen, you will switch the kettle on so you can have a nice cup of tea, and you'll go, you know what, while I'm waiting, I'll put that laundry on. No to-do list, no little boxes making you feel like a failure if you didn't do it, no panic that, I haven't done it. No worry, no stress, no nothing. You know you have to do the laundry. Everybody knows they have to do laundry at some point. If it's important, you'll write it down. If it's not important, you'll do it when you get round to it. And that's how I'm getting my task lists reduced. I'm not putting things down on a task with a little checkbox today unless A, it's vital I do it, B, it's really important to me or someone that I love or care about or work with, or, you know, there's various other different connotations of that. Or unless it's something that I think, I don't need to do it today, but I really could do with doing it tomorrow. So I'll put it as a task list today, and then if I don't get round to it, it doesn't matter, but I can do it tomorrow. It's still there. It's in the fret. If I don't write it down, I'll forget to do it tomorrow. No forward planning, no nothing. Just write it on today's. Not even as a task. Little dot, need to do some laundry. Little dot, running out of towels. It's not a to-do. It's a note to yourself. Don't have any clean underwear. Whoops. That's a note to yourself. That's a reminder to yourself. It's not something that you have to do. It's just you being mindful of the state of your current laundry basket and saying, okay, I'm going to need to do something about that, but right now is not the time. You go off and do what's important to you now. You go out and do what is vital now. I don't have any coffee in the house. Before I do anything else, I need to go and get coffee. Right? You prioritise simply by saying, this doesn't have to be a task right now. That's where reflection comes in, because at the end of the day and first thing in the morning reflection, think of it a bit like morning pages, except there's no 3-page requirement. It's just you getting stuff out of your head, looking at your day, looking at what you did yesterday, going, oh, I forgot to do that yesterday, I better do that today. It's just a start off for the day. It's kind of mentally shrugging yourself into the day and saying, okay, what have I got going on today? Let's just clarify. I know I did it last night, but let's just run it through again. Your evening reflection is rounding up the day and collecting all that detritus, all that, running out of towels. Don't have any milk. Need to get milk. I need to sort out the thing on my hard drive because something's going wrong with it. I need to look that up. We have a tendency to put that as a task right now and go and do it and go and start looking it up right now. We don't need to. We can put it on the task list, make a note to ourselves, just put it in the daily log, rapid log it. That's the key. And then say, okay, I'm going to forget about that until later. When you're doing your evening reflections, you've then got time to look at that and go, okay, the hard drive is messing up. I need to do something about that. What am I going to do about it and why? If it's vitally important that you get your hard drive sorted out, because your hard drive is extremely important, as it would be if I was in that situation, what am I going to do? Am I going to say, I need to spend some time on the internet doing this and find out how to fix it? Or am I simply going to say, you know what, I'm just going to give Brian a call tomorrow and ask him if he'll take a look at it. So you put on your task list for tomorrow, set up tomorrow with your date, and you put, call Brian about DVD, hard drive. That's done. That's it, it's finished. All you've got to do now is call Brian tomorrow. There's no, I'll text him now. I'll go and do that now. I'll go and spend 20 minutes on the internet, on YouTube, trying to find out how to do it and fix it myself. Maybe I've suddenly grown technical abilities in the last 48 hours and somehow I'll be able to fix it myself with a YouTube video, and, 4 hours later you've done absolutely nothing all evening and you're learning how to speak giraffe. I've been there. There is a video on how to speak giraffe. Oh dear. It's too easy to just put things in your planner or your to-do list and say, I've got to do this, without thinking about Why? Why have I got to do this? Is it going to be the end of the world if I don't do it? Probably not. I'm just reading my notes again and didn't realise that it was so important until I started doing it twice a day. That's true. I didn't realise that I was cherry picking what to reflect about. I was compartmentalising it and going, this is my planner, this is my to-do list, this is what I have to do, and now it's my time and I'm going to go and journal. And I don't need to treat it like that. I can merge the two together and say, okay, that needs to go be written down, but I don't want to deal with it right now. So note, what are we doing for Patreon next week? Sort out videos. I can then, during my reflection, say, okay, what are we doing next week? I don't know. I need to find that out. I need to figure it out tomorrow. I need to ask so-and-so and talk to them about what we're doing. I need to... Oh, well, I've already decided what we're going to do. I know what we're going to do. I just need to organise what videos I'm going to do and when. Okay, there's your task. Write down what videos you want to do, plan them out, get them sorted, put aside time to do that. It's not, I must do all my Patreon stuff tomorrow, which is how my life was starting to feel. It's too easy to write stuff down and never look at it again. Especially digitally. That to-do list. That to-do app that I downloaded and found that not only had I already used it, but apparently I didn't get on with it because my last to-do list was from 2015 and none of it had been done. Or none of it had been checked off. It's too easy to wait until you are overwhelmed and then say, oh God, my brain is spinning, I need to do a brain dump. Now, I've been, in the past, a huge proponent of the brain dump, and to a certain extent I still am. If you are feeling overwhelmed at critical mass, you need to get stuff out of your head, sit and write it down. However, if you're reflecting twice a day and using your bullet journal as a rapid log, you shouldn't ever get to that point of feeling overwhelmed. What? You mean I don't need to take a brain dump? We all know what dump means colloquially, and we all know what comes out when we metaphorically take a dump. And we certainly don't want to look at it and inspect it. We just want to flush it away, right? Right? All of that quite literal crap is what you're doing when you do a brain dump. And I'd never thought about it in this way until I realised that since I've been doing reflection, I'm writing things down as they come to me throughout the day. Always. Just, oh, I'll make a note of that. Oh, I'll make a note of that. It doesn't mean I spend all day every day in my bullet journal. It just means that it's always to hand and I can pick it out and go, oh, call mum. I don't need to write down what I need to call mum about. The fact that I've written it down, I will remember what I need to call her about. And if I don't, then it wasn't vital, it wasn't important, and I'll just call her next week. So instead of metaphorically taking a mental dump when you reach critical mass, you are constantly just, right, I've finished with that bit of paper, throw that in the bin. Okay, finished with that coffee cup, that can go in the bin. You know, you're just clearing the decks as you go through your day. What I'm finding by doing that is that I have more room in my brain for remembering that I need to go and put the laundry on because it's going to be a nice day tomorrow and I can put the sheets out on the line, okay? So my task list has got smaller because I'm not forgetting to do things. If it's vital, if it's important, if I really must not forget to do it, then there's somewhere to write it in my bullet journal. I absolutely must not forget to get Maddie's vax done. Do I need to put that on the task list now? No, it's not due until after the 14th. So I've put a note on my monthly page to say, Maddie's vax are due. Every day, twice a day, I revisit that list and I go, okay, what have I done? What have I moved on from? What have I decided is not necessary anymore? What have I procrastinated on so much that the deadline's come and gone? What can I get rid of? What have I delegated to somebody else? Oh, Maddie's vax are due after the 14th. Oh, it's only the 2nd. I can ignore that one for a bit longer. There you go. I've looked at it. I've reflected on it. I've decided I don't need to worry about it right now. Somewhere around the 10th, I might think, ooh, I should probably book her in for that at some point this week. So I might put a star next to it to say, oh, that's important. I need to do that at some point. That's become a priority. And then eventually I'll go, ooh, it's the 14th on Friday. Maybe I should put that on the task list. I better call the vet tomorrow. That way, if I forget to call the vet tomorrow, or I don't get round to calling the vet tomorrow, guess what? It's not a major issue because I've still got a couple of days to do it. And it doesn't need to be done until after the 14th anyway. I'm absolutely positive it could wait until the Monday. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's important, but it's not vital. And that is the lesson that I'm taking away from reflection, that the more you reflect, the less urgency there is to do all the time, the more considered you are about what you're doing and why. You know, when you first put something down on a task list, it might seem important. Even the second time, you might go, oh, I forgot to do that. I really should do it tomorrow. By about the fourth time, you don't even want to write it down. So, as Ryder says, if you don't even want to be bothered to write it down for a fourth time, was it really that important in the first place? When you treat everything as planning and journaling, you're compartmentalizing it in your head, and you're forcing yourself to say, oh, I can't do that right now. I'm not in the right mind frame. You know, I can't do that. I'm not at work. I can't do that. I'm not at home. I can't do that. It's not Friday. You're putting all these unnecessary restrictions on yourself when you could just open your bullet journal while you're at work and put a note saying, call the vet. Finished. No longer in your head. Now you can concentrate on work. So that little thought that's bouncing around your head, must call the vet, must call the vet, must call the vet, must call the vet. You've decided when you're going to do it. You've thought about it and you've decided it is not vital that you do it while you're at work. You're currently at work, therefore that thought is not going to bother you because you've written it down. You're not going to forget about it. It's not like you're thinking, oh, I must remember to tell myself to do that. I must remember to tell myself to do that. It's written down. And you're not going to miss it when you write it down because, guess what? In an absolute maximum of 12 hours, you're going to be doing a reflection, at which point you'll go, God damn it, I didn't call the vet. Or you'll go, oh, I did that earlier. Tick. No more panic, no more stress, no more, oh, I must remember to do this, I must remember to... It's not about that. It takes that mental energy and it gives you, what did he call it? Agency. It gives you agency over your life. You no longer have all this information coming at you. You no longer have all these to-dos that you have to do. You have the ability to say, oh, well, I'll put into George's collection, but I'm afraid I'm busy on Friday, sorry. And now you don't have to go to George's leaving party. You don't like George anyway. And who wants to socialise with people from work? Especially accounts. By reviewing AM and PM, whether you feel you need to or not, that is essential. You're not updating your bullet journal, you're checking in with yourself. So it's taken, as he says, the agency, the control back. So often we have these massive to-do lists and we go, oh, I'm so busy, I don't know what to do with myself. You've lost control at that point. It is way too late. All you can do at that point is sit down with a big piece of paper and go, okay, let's have a coffee and figure this out. Well, you don't need to get to that point. You're not needing to do a brain dump. You're not overwhelmed. You're not stressed because you're updating it all the time, checking in with your tasks. You're looking at them and going, is that vital? Does it matter? Is it important? Do I even care? No. At that point, again, as per the book, it's a distraction. Get rid of it. That way, your mental energy is focused, redirected to what is important to you. Let me read you that quote again. The point of reflection is to make sure that the things you are pursuing, not doing, pursuing, continue to matter. Not just they mattered 3 weeks ago, but they still matter now. Might have been on your 5-year plan. 3 years into it, does it still matter? Even as life changes around you. That's important. Things you wanted to do yesterday might no longer be important to you today. Why? Because as Alice in Wonderland once said, I'm not the same person I was yesterday. It will help you focus on the why rather than the what. So you're no longer focusing on, I must do this, I must do this, I must do this, I must do this. You're focusing on, I set myself a goal to do this. Does it still matter to me? Not as much as it did. Okay, I need to review that particular plan. This is something I've been doing for the last 4 years, and I'm still doing it because it's on my 5-year plan. Well, it was on your 5-year plan because at the time you were with a particular partner and that partner has since left. You're now with somebody else. And that partner has absolutely no interest in going to Kenya on a safari. So why are you still saving up for it? Does it still matter to you? Do you still want to go? Or was it the other person's idea and you're just still holding on to that? Could you revise that plan and say, okay, well, we could still do with a holiday, we'll still save the money. Oh, I could take that money and put it towards a new car. That would be far more beneficial right now because my car is on its last legs. That matters to me. You've got the opportunity to have that moment of where you think about, do I still want this? In effect, it becomes a kind of meditation. Now, meditation is a very hippy-dippy word and a lot of people are like, oh, don't meditate. But it's the concept of submersion. It's called lots of things in lots of different ways, but we call it submersion here, where you are doing something solely for the sake of doing that thing and immersing yourself in it so much that you are completely engrossed in it. For me, it's art. For some people, it's colouring. For some people, it's writing. For some people, it's knitting. For some people, it's watching Star Trek on repeat. Whatever it is that you like to do, that you get so lost in it that you completely forget everything else, that's your happy place. And that is a form of meditation. And if you're checking in with your bullet journal, which hopefully you are enjoying using and finding benefit from, then that few minutes, morning and evening, whether it's a 2-hour writing session or a 5-minute check-in of, oh, what have I got to do today? Let me just check. Either of those is a meditation. You can meditate for as little as 10 seconds. So if you can spend 5-10 minutes with your bullet journal, that's a 5-10 minute meditation. That gives your brain that time to slow down and not be do. I must do this, I must do this, I must do this. Stop. Look. And if you don't feel you have anything that you really need to do, if you flick through your journal and you go, this is up to date, I don't need to really do anything, I haven't got anything important on today that I need to revise or anything, okay, that's the morning reflection done. Then if you still feel like you need that time, make something up. Pull up an article from your notes app that you've been meaning to read and make notes about, and read it and make notes about it for 10 minutes or however long it takes or whatever. Reread some journal entries that you haven't read in absolutely ages. Reflect on them. Because you're not the same person who wrote those journal entries 3 months ago. Re-look at things, notes that you made on the bullet journal method book, for instance. 2 weeks ago and say, why did I write that down? I don't think that anymore. Change what you put, rewrite it, make new notes, add on to it, constantly develop and change. This is something that Ryder said in a interview. Somebody said to him, where do you see the bullet journal in 5 years? He just laughed. And they said, okay, where do you see your bullet journal in 5 years? And he said, I can't even imagine it, because I can't imagine the person I'm going to be in 5 years. And hopefully my bullet journal develops with me. And I thought, wow, what a really quite profound way of looking at it. You can't possibly know how you're going to be doing bullet journaling, or even if you'll be doing bullet journaling in 5 years' time, because you don't know who you're going to be. You can only hope to aspire to be something, or to do something, or to have done something. For me, I've found that reflection is most effective when you sit quietly. So you don't have any digital distractions. You don't do it while you're watching YouTube. You don't do it while you're listening to a podcast. I've tried that and it doesn't work. Take the time to check in with yourself. It's not about just ticking things off a to-do list while you watch today's YouTube video. It's about looking at your life, your thoughts, your creativity, your brain, and saying, is what I am carrying around with me important? And if it's not important, is it so unimportant that I can just get rid of it? Don't multitask. That's another one. Do not multitask. Put on some quiet music, or, just sit in silence. I like to sit with my dogs in the morning. I do my reflection before I even get out of bed. I let Maddie out for a wee. I get back into bed, snuggle with the puppies, and I do my reflection while listening to Maddie snore as she gets comfy and has her morning snuggle. And it's the most relaxing way to start my day I can imagine. It's really enjoyable. I actually look forward to it. So the concept of reflection leads to, instead of just ticking off to-do lists and ticking off things that you should have done and writing more lists, it becomes more about idea exploration for the future and holding on to memories that you want to keep from the past. So it's about, what does he call it? Tracking your past and designing the future. That's where reflection comes in. It's not all about, what have I got to do today? You can be a little bit too present with the whole, what have I got to do today? Bullet journal effectively becomes a conversation between you and the person you want to be, the person you are aiming to be, the person you are aiming to become, the goals you have set yourself. You're constantly checking in with those goals and saying, are they still valid? Do they still matter? If they no longer matter to you, why are you still working towards them? Would you be better at directing that energy somewhere else? And for me, that is the key to reflection, which in turn is the key to the bullet journal. It's all about redirecting your mental energy. And in my case, that involves, instead of having a bunch of squirrels at rave, when I mentioned my squirrels before, somebody sent me a meme and it says, I don't have ducks and they're not in a row. I have squirrels and they're at a rave. And I thought that was really funny. That explains my head most days. But what I'm effectively doing is sitting my squirrels down and saying, okay, here's a nut for you, and here's a nut for you, and you get a nut, and you get a nut, and you get a nut, and we all get a nut. And giving them something to do. It stops them running off going, wah, I've got an idea. If one of my squirrels does jump up and go, oh, I've got an idea, I go, excellent, come and tell me about it. And I listen. I go, okay, there's a nut. Off you go. And I write it in my bullet journal. And so far,